One of the most common questions today is, can you cook with olive oil? Short answer, yes.
Yes.
And if you want to find out more, keep watching.
So can you cook with olive oil? I hear all these people saying you shouldn't cook with it.
Well, there's a lot to say about cooking with olive oil. As always, I'd highly recommend you just do your own research. Some people do, some people don't. But if you head on over to the Mediterranean, where it's been touted as one of the healthiest diets on the planet. Well, those people have been cooking with olive oil for, well, probably around 8,000 years that they know of. Could be longer. I'm probably going to bet that it's probably been 10 to 12,000 years, but I'm not really sure because I wasn't there. Cooking with olive oil. Where do I begin? You can certainly cook with olive oil. My family's been doing it. There's the controversy, I guess, pretty well arose in the last 5, 6, 7 years, somewhere in there. And this is even in the health industry that, they're saying that olive oil has a low smoking point and it turns carcinogenic and it's cancer causing and it's bad for you. I'm not sure exactly who came out with these studies, but there's a few factors to consider. One, most olive oils aren't olive oil. So when they're testing these smoke points out, which oil are they using? And because there's so many different grades and varieties, then there's literally thousands of different options that you would have to assess to see what the smoke points are, because different olive varieties actually have different smoke points. The olive oils that we promote to cook with, I mean, you can actually cook with either virgin or extra virgin. We don't recommend cooking with any other grade of oil or just using any other grade of oil. Always virgin or extra virgin, but virgin olive oil is the one that we recommend that you can cook with. It does have a slightly higher smoke point. It has a flavor profile that is a lot softer and sweeter, and that helps with imparting less flavor. And because it's just so subtle, you can, whether you're baking or frying white fish or frying eggs, it's not going to impart with a green flavor. In fact, it's a little more on the buttery side, but subtle, and it still just really enhances the flavor of whatever it is that you're cooking with. Where do I start? Yeah. So one other feature with cooking with olive oil is that when you're got it at the right temperature, and this is something a chef showed me. They were frying. It was breaded eggplant. One pan was vegetable oil. The other pan was our virgin olive oil. And the results, when it's cooked at the right temperature, the olive oil actually it sears the outside of whatever you're cooking so that it absorbs much less oil, and in the long run you actually end up using less oil because you're not adding more oil to the pan when you're cooking. If you're cooking for a few different rounds of whatever it is that you might be putting in the pan. So with that searing effect, it doesn't absorb any of the oil, and it seals in all the juices and nutrients, and you just have a much better tasting product at the end. Plus it's healthier. So to go back to what people confuse with between smoke point and burning point, it's basically the temperature that you will see smoke rising out of the pan. So don't be concerned that if something has a low smoke point or not. Like if you have it at home on the stove, the pan's on the stove, and you see smoke, then you've hit that smoke point. And if you've smoked it for a little too long, you probably should toss that oil out and start again. It's pretty simple. But once you get used to cooking with any type of oil, really. Of course, olive oil or even coconut oil or avocado oil are some of the oils I would also recommend that you can cook with. Your outcome will be a lot more precise, and you just know that you should be throwing the product into the pan when it's ready to go. And an easy way to do it, if you're, let's say you're sauteing onions, you can just throw in one onion, and when you see it starting to sizzle, bubble, fry, then you just know you can throw in the rest of the batch. So when they're testing the smoke points of oils, and there are several different types of oils that you can compare, I guess we're just talking about olive oil. That part wasn't so good. Erase that part, Michael. Anyways, when you're looking at the smoke point of olive oil, it's important that you're using an authentic, high quality, real olive oil. People have this idea that they can use a cheap olive oil, which there's no such thing as a cheap olive oil. And cheap meaning that it's your $8.99 olive oil. You shouldn't be cooking with that. You shouldn't be doing anything with it, as far as I'm concerned.
Why? Like, what are some of the negative health? I don't know. Maybe that's kind of a dodgy subject to even kind of go into or like make a claim about. But disadvantages to using some of the cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
well,
we won't talk about that.
Cheaper oils or cheaper olive oils, most of them, or any other oil, is extracted using a chemical process where there's heat involved, and you end up having an oil that is just basically oil, and there's no organic compounds or antioxidants in the oil to protect the oil from oxidizing when you're putting the oil in a pan on the heat. Because coconut and olive oil, they've actually been cooked with for thousands of years. Those are the two main oils that humans have been using for forever. When you're cooking with an oil that is extracted using a mechanical process, and there's just no refining and there's no heat in the extraction method, and you end up with an oil that is raw. It's in its crude form. So it's just sort of the way nature intended, and it has everything it needs in order for humans to use it for cooking or for raw. And this is the way Mother Nature intended it. It didn't make us, we didn't have to do too much work to get although it is a lot of work to extract oil, but that's as far as we needed to go. It's when you're taking oils that have been highly refined, plus the extraction process alone is also harmful, and using heat and chemicals, then you're literally just left with this oil which shouldn't be eaten, whether it's cooked or raw. The reaction that because the oil doesn't have any antioxidants in it, and that is really what protects the oil from oxidizing, then of course there's oxidization happening. But
isn't that the thing people are worried about with like the whole cooking with olive oil in the first place?
Yeah, they're saying it's oxidizing and becoming carcinogenic.
But it only does that because it's not, or allegedly and potentially not real olive oil 100%.
Right. Real olive oil also has a smoke point. Everything has a smoke point.
Yeah.
So it's you apply heat to any oil, any fat, any food, your hand, there's always damage that's going to be done, no matter what. Like, there's not a single thing that I know of, except the plant, perhaps, if it's not too hot. But if you go over a certain temperature with anything, you're going to kill it. So there's a smoke point for every oil, and olive oil is around 420 degrees Fahrenheit. I hope that's right. around 250 degrees Celsius, 410, 420 Fahrenheit, which is pretty high. It's actually higher than coconut oil. Coconut oil is around 350 degrees Celsius, and avocado oil is actually the highest at 500 degrees Fahrenheit. But depending on the culture and the cuisine that you're cooking up, then those oils are interchangeable, and you can bake with coconut oil or you can bake with virgin olive oil if you wish. And there's obviously a lot of dishes for my taste that I just wouldn't like a coconut oil flavor in my Italian style cuisine. So to go back to the whole controversy with cooking with olive oil, there's the health professionals, there's the universities, there's the studies and all these things that are happening in olive growing regions, of course, because they're there to promote and educate consumers into what is healthy. And because olive oil has been basically tested on humans for thousands of years, then there's actual raw evidence and research to back up these claims that they're coming out with. And over there in Italy or Spain or Greece, Morocco, Tunisia, Portugal, that's what they're using. That's what they're saying should be the only oil to cook with. Whereas here in North America, not too many olive trees grow here, except in California. So we have other people that have other interests in promoting their oil, which is why I said at the beginning, do your own research, because who am I? Don't take my word for it. I did what I had to do to figure out what was real and what's not, and I just used a little bit of logic and common sense, and yes, I'm selling olive oil, so it makes a little bit of economical sense that I'm going to tell you that yes, use olive oil to cook with. There's a couple other things I need to say here. What is it?
Regarding cooking with olive oil?
Yeah. It's been used for thousands of years. The smoke point. Shit. There's another key point. It's like sort of hits home. That's what they've been using. I already talked about virgin or the adulterated oils and what. I think I covered them all actually.
I think you got it. Yeah, like the smoke. You'll actually be able to see it if the smoke point is. The smoke point is not, this imaginary kind of. Like you can see it with
literally,
your
you
eyes.
can see it. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that they just think it's a point where something happens and they don't.
Like you won't be able to tell, but you actually can. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Which is actually, I want to do that in the kitchen, of course, and just have temperature guns or whatever on oil, and then once you see it smoke, you just like beep, capture the smoke point live on that iPhone camera or another one.
Content.
Yes, you can cook with olive oil. You can fry, saute, bake, marinade. Any place where you're going to be applying heat to your food, you can definitely cook with it. I do, and look at me.